Hey guys, PatsFan929 here, bringing you another commentary. Domination on Karachi, clan practice once again. As you have noticed, I like to bring clan practices because it gets me good games. I find that once I do clan practices, teamwork is usually the way to go, and that I usually get good kill-death ratios. So, as you see, I'm kind of deliberating what class I want to use, although I end up switching in the middle of the game. And I switched right there too, so it was a good match for me. I go 29-7, I think. So I'm a happy camper in this game. I don't literally camp, but I'm happy. So some things I want to talk about in this commentary are one, some news in PlayStation Army. Two. Can't count today. 2, the usage of teamwork, and that's about it. I mean, both will be pretty long, so bear with me here. So the first thing is in PlayStation Army, we're thinking about doing like massive private matches, and if you want to get in on this, you obviously have to join, but we're thinking of doing games like Michael Myers and whatnot, and other game modes like dodgeball, knife throwing, and just the standard stuff. Also, we have, like I said before, we have our MVP for the month of April. We also have opened a second ES squad. This is a while back, so. We have opened a second ES squad, which is like competitive, which does game battles and whatnot. In PSA, we have the introductory squad, which does things called ITPs. We have structured squad, which is just regular old squads. And then we have the competitive, which does game battles, fragmentation ladders, and competitive ladders. So. When that, if, like, I'm kind of like, struggling to say what I want to say, but, the squad leader for the competitive squad is Army Living Legend. He is a really good squad leader, actually. He does well in competitive squads, so it'll be fun to see what happens to them, what happens with them, I guess you could say. So in this game, I'm using the M4 carbine with the holographic sight, the Scavenger Pro, Stopping Power Pro, and Steady Aim Pro, my standard class. This is actually kind of like all my classes for all of my game modes, so it's a good setup for me, but I use different guns for certain types of situations or maps. So it's the M4 is actually kind of like my go-to gun, I guess you could say. Like if I'm doing bad, that's the gun I'll use. So, or if I don't like how the game's going, I'll go to that gun. I like the M4 just because it has a fast rate of fire, pumps out the bullets in the rate I need it to, and it's very accurate. It can be used at long distances. Like, although it's not really realistic enough, like you can't use it in long distances as you can in real life. Like in real life, the carbine would be mainly used for close quarters battle in situations where you're under 100 yards, and that's what usually happens in your urban combat, is you're under 100 yards in your engagements, and you don't need the M16 rifle, but it's useful, but it's not needed because it's such close quarters, and you don't need it to reach out to those long distances of 300 meters or more. So, but another great feature of the carbine is, again, its fast rate of fire. And once again, it pumps out the bullets I need it to, and it allows me to get the superior fire rate advantage over my opponent that I'm facing. So one of the great features of a carbine compared to a rifle. Another great thing is its rail system in real life. I mean, you can attach basically anything you want to it, as long as they don't as long as they don't impair one another, I guess you could say. Like, I'm not going to attach an ACOG and then put a red dot sight right in front of it. I mean, it's kind of like they cancel each other out. So, it's really, what's the point? I actually talked to someone who's been shot at before. You wouldn't say whether he killed someone, because that's something you don't really say, not really something to be proud of. But I was talking to someone, and he says the U.S. Army is issued an EOTech holographic sight, which is the one in this game. So it's good to know the Army is looking out for those people, for those soldiers that need a holographic sight. So once again, it's great features of the carbine. Now the disadvantages are that if you go past 100 yards, you're going to have decreased ballistic performance, which means it won't be as accurate. Your shot placement is going to be more varied and whatnot. So it's not going to be as great as the M16 itself, but it'll do the job, I guess you could say. So anyway, back to the gameplay. You see we're winning by a lot. So I've actually started to lay back a little bit, not really push it on as I was before. So when that happens, I usually don't do what I normally do, which is try and run into a spawn, gun around, and run out. I'll just camp. I'll just stay in one spot and try and maybe spawn trap them a little bit, or try and kill more people. Like, if we're winning by a lot, I'll start going for the kills and stop going for the flags, because I feel the need not to do it. I feel the need that you don't need to go for the flags anymore if you're winning by how much we're winning. So it was a good game for us all. This one, I just get lucky. I sacrifice Ninja Cat here and get pretty lucky in surviving. So game's coming to a close. I got about 30 seconds left, but like I said, this was a clan practice, so it was a good game for me, 29-7, and I like this game. Ever since I think I just needed a break from Modern Warfare 2, to be honest, because I'll go into that in another game. So game's coming to